I'm going to put the lawyer hat on very so briefly, as Jen would maybe be not impressed, but there's this thing in preliminary trial dealings called discovery. You have to be able to show what it is or what evidence or lack thereof that is there in order to bring a case to trial. Now, the prosecution is insisting that they have the evidence. And everyone is insisting that they know, or at least anybody's on the supporting side of MAGA and the supporting side of Eric Kirk and Trump, etc. That's what I said, discovery. Yeah, I got that one right. Can't hate on me for that one. That the information that is provided, it is an absolute necessity to have everything on the table at all times. But as we know, they're claiming one thing and they're doing something completely different. This is from footage that was captured inside the courtroom regarding where the defense is at regarding discovery.
Probable cause statement in support of the information says in the middle of page 6, the rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for forensic processing. DNA consistent with Robinson's was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges, and the towel. We have not received the discovery, and I'm not talking about expert notice, I will address that. We have not received the physical evidence and the electronic evidence that supports those assertions made by Mr. Gray when he swore to the probable cause statement attached to the information.
So I don't know what their game here is or what they think they're going to prove. There is no evidence because Tyler Robinson did not do the deed. He is the patsy, and they're going to continue to kick this ball down the road. I'll tell you in a second. Tyler Robinson, defense attorney. Let's see. I'm not getting a name here. Yeah, I'm not getting any names. If anybody's got the name of Tyler Robinson's defense attorney, Jen requested it. This is just the start. And it's also good to see you guys. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. So we will continue now with a more detailed explanation from the Queen herself. Here's Candace.
Up on here to make sure everybody is aware of what is going on right now. I am seized, obviously, by the Charlie Kirk assassination trial, and I want to make sure I'm breaking down to the public what is happening because there is a hearing live right now. The defense versus the prosecution. Prosecution is representing Erica Kirk because she is the victim on this case, and you might recall that Erica did this news hit a while ago. It was kind of weird where she just asserted and then they passed around that she really wanted to make sure that her right to a speedy trial was observed, okay? And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, why? Well, it turns out that now we are understanding that this is going to be the prosecution's strategy. And I will be very clear here. I do not believe Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk. And I believe that Turning Point USA is implicated in this moment in a cover-up of sorts, okay? What various roles were played. But to me, looking at the evidence, which I have done more than anybody else, there is a cover-up taking place. And this hearing proves it, okay? So they were supposed to have a probable cause hearing in May. It is slated on the calendar. When they agreed to do this in May, the defense, Tyler Robinson's defense, was like, well, we shouldn't set a date until we all get our discovery requests. And they were like, we're just going to put it on the calendar. Don't worry. We're just going to throw it on the calendar. And then, of course, if you guys don't have what you need, the case will not go forward. Lo and behold, Erica goes on Fox News and says, I want to make sure it's a speedy trial on the victim, whatever. And so now we're hearing that directly from the defense, and the prosecution is not disputing this, they both agree that the ATF and the FBI will not hand over their data files that they have had in their possession since September, despite multiple requests from the defense. They're like, we literally cannot have this hearing because we have not been given any data files. What am I talking about? This is crucial. Erica's team is arguing, we want the hearing to go through anyways. It's just a probable cause hearing. Okay, but they are basing this probable cause hearing. They want this to be televised, and they're going to say, what evidence do you have that Tyler Robinson did this? And the prosecution is going to say, well, we have his fingerprints that are on the gun. Well, what they're not telling you is that they're saying they have his fingerprints on the gun. That's just a summary report that the FBI gave to the defense. The defense is saying, okay, now can we see the digitized files? Can we see the fingerprints? Can we see your process and how you got this? No.
And that's the end of the case. You are withholding evidence to prove that this should go to trial. This is a dog and pony show. This is a show trial. It's not real. If you have forensic evidence proving that Tyler Robinson is at least a guilty party in Charlie Kirk's assassination, present it so that it can go to trial. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is refusing to admit the evidence. That's because there isn't any. This is all hearsay. This is all the Justice Department not wanting to address the fact that there is something much more deep and sinister going on here. But this is the whole thing about conspiracy. This is why we cover this on our channel. Because in the end, everything gets back to Israel. Everything gets back to the fact that of all the reasons that Charlie needed to be removed, it's because he got in the way of war with Iran. He got in the way of the Greater Israel Project. And the second you get in the way of multinational corporations in conjunction with the Zio state and their interests in making billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, I don't care who you are, you're a dead man. And very often, when you get to the highest levels, like JFK, and in this case, like Charlie Kirk, you are not only going to be executed, you are going to be executed in public so that everyone can see it, so that you are reminded every day that if you step out of line, something's coming for you. It came for me. I lost my job. Why? Because I pissed off Laura fucking Loomer. And who the hell are we? We are a tiny little channel compared to people like Candace and Tucker. But clearly, whatever we're saying is having an impact of some kind. And we're not going to stop. Is there risks? Sure. I have no doubt that there's risks. Our channel gets suppressed every day. We have to fight through this every day. But we will continue to fight on because this is how you make change. Remember what I said at the top of the stream. If what you're doing is not pissing people off, you're not doing it right. Especially people in power. If you're not doing that, wasting your time. Doing this is helping create the revolutionary change we so desperately need. And the second that the people that are armed in this country, and yes, I did say the word armed, it's very distinct. When the armed people of this country decide that they don't want Israel anywhere near our crosshairs anymore, that they do not want to be conscripted to the Zio state or to the Zionist billionaire class that runs our country, when they decide that they are ready for revolution, it'll happen. And we're getting very close, very close. That's why Candace, who is much more influential than we are, better be protecting herself. Because she's getting very close.
You just get the summary. The summary report is all you need. No, actually, we need to make sure that what you're saying you saw and what you have is real. Also, aren't there 5 other sets of print? No, all you get is our summary report saying that Tyler Robinson's fingerprints are on the gun. Similarly, the ATF is also refusing to hand over for some unknown reason. It actually is kind of a known reason. Like, we don't know, but we know the reason of talking about the gun. They are also unable to get the chain of custody. Again, probable cause hearing. Erica's prosecution is going to say, well, we saw Tyler Robinson get onto the rooftop at this time. We saw Tyler Robinson get into his car at this time. Well, the defense is saying they won't give us the chain of custody. So basically, we can't dispute anything they're saying. It's possible, highly possible, that actually those images were taken on a different day. How do we know if you don't hand us over the files, if we can't see the chain of custody, how these files were created, who it was transferred over to? Otherwise, all we have is a report that says, well, Tyler Robinson, the FBI concluded, jumped onto the rooftop at 12:19 p.m. before taking a shot at Charlie Kirk. We don't have to give you any more. That is the argument that Erica's team is making right now. That, well, it's just a probable cause hearing, so it doesn't really matter. We want things to go through. She's a victim. She wants things to happen quickly. And their defense is making a very valid, a very layered, a not complex argument for anybody who has common sense to understand that there can be no going forward until we have what we need, because we can't dispute what you're saying. We're just supposed to trust me, bro, when it comes to the FBI, who has butchered this case and told us the most unbelievable things since the very beginning. This cannot happen. Never did I think that we would be alive for something like JFK. You grow up, you hear the stories about JFK, you hear the conspiracies, you hear about the corruption of the feds, you hear about LBJ's potential involvement, and you think this will never again happen in the United States of America, and we're never going to be able to experience that. That is happening right now.
I also want to point out, and this is very important, that from the very beginning, when they discarded evidence, when they covered up the crime scene, the second that you smell a rat is the second you know something is afoot that should not be. And that's it. You have to know immediately. No autopsy, nothing. So why would that happen in such a high-profile assassination? Because it was an execution. It was a coup. This wasn't some random shooter. This wasn't a Lee Harvey. This was a person or a entity, when you consider all the variables that were involved in this killing. The amateur video that captured what it captured. The guy who stood up in the crowd right before the shot. And then after, the person who said, I did it. To distract. From what? There's no such thing. And again, the only reason this is happening is because there are much more powerful people at play here that needed to get rid of him. And as I said, they had to do it in public. Now, they thought they could control the narrative. That's why they tried to control everything. But remember, this was an outdoor event, and the only reason we know for certain that what we've been told is a lie is because there's amateur video that made it onto social media before they could take it all down. And that's it. There's no other reason. If they could have controlled everything from the jump, they would have. But we are living in an information age where you can't do it. You just can't. It is inevitable that the truth will not only come out, but it will set us free. Because the second people realize who really was behind this, there is going to be a demand for revolutionary change against Israel. We're already heading there. But once it becomes clear as to why and how Charlie was removed, that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's already breaking Turning Point USA, which is so beautiful to see.
Every person should pivot, go find, there's live feeds on YouTube, there's live feeds that are on Twitter, and rewatch what is playing out right now in the courtroom, where they are arguing that the ATF and the FBI should not have to hand over their files, just their reports, their summary, their conclusion, absent any digitized or data that is included in the summaries, and you should just trust them and go forward with the hearing. This cannot happen. This cannot stand. I will state again, over and over, But with everything that I have looked at, I don't think there's a single soul who has given more of their life, spent more hours examining this case from every aspect than me, because I deeply care about this. And I am telling you, I have not seen one shred of convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Not one, okay? And the fact that his wife is trying to play this, what I would say to be a sleight of hand, not granting a continuance, take it from someone who is perpetually sued. I have never been in a case where both sides don't just agree to a general continuance. Even me and Brigitte, despite our differences, have agreed to a continuance when we were like, oh, the date that was set, can we push it back? And Brigitte's team just agreed to it. It's almost like just something that you do out of respect for understanding that things have to be done. Why is Erica's team arguing this? They should say, we don't agree with what the FBI is doing. Of course, we want you to be able to reasonably defend yourself, because we want the public to believe that this is not a show trial.
It is a show trial. And they know it is. They're also in on the scam. Now, I can't say definitively one way or the other whether Erica had anything to do with what went down, but do I think she knows what went down and is going along to get along? Yes, very much so. And I've also said time and again, and I will keep saying it, I do believe that Candace knows what went down. I believe she is fully aware of what happened. And she's going to kick this can as far down the road as she can until everybody's on board. Can't let it go. But it is a sham trial. And this is proving it point for point why that is the case. The fact that they won't issue a continuance, even though it is clear that this discovery is a complete fallacy. The only reason that Erica and her people would suggest otherwise is because they know something they don't want us to know. So that's why we keep pushing.
Right? We want the public to believe that Tyler Robinson did this. They have been signaling to the public that the evidence is so overwhelming. They're overwhelmed. They wake up, they have to pop a Xanax because they're just so overwhelmed by how obvious it is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. And yet they're trying to play this game right now. So overwhelming, we don't have the data from September. We just have what Kash Patel and the ATF says happened in their summary reports, but we really should just get on with this trial. This is like a hoax being played upon the American public. Shame, absolute shame that Charlie's friends are in office right now. The people that he fought to put in office are allowing this charade to go on.
Candace brings up an excellent point, because the one thing that you will also notice in the halls of Congress that Jen and I noticed is not only do you have the I Stand With Israel placards, you also have the Trump after being shot, and you have rest in peace Charlie Kirk. Saw that quite a few times. You don't see any of these guys speaking up about the sham trial that's going on right now. No, of course not. It's because they are in on the scam. Well, they just know. And they know not to say anything. That's why they're just hoping that this gets swept under the rug. It is our duty, regardless of whether we agree with Charlie Kirk politically, because in the end, we are ruled by a Zionist billionaire oligarchy, fascistic oligarchy. Everything else that we complain about, it's all a show. This is the real stuff. And they are desperate to make it go away. We're not letting it go away. We'll finish.
Donald Trump, Vance, and Kash Patel are allowing this charade to go on. Why don't they pick up the phone and demand that Kash Patel send over the files? Since they all love Erica so much, she's so innocent, she's so wonderful, we love her, we want the public to get off of her. So why don't you pick up the phone and command your FBI and your ATF to hand over the files so Erica can have her speedy trial? Oh, I know, because it didn't happen. We all know the story that they are giving us is absolute fed slop, but this trial that is going on right now should awaken everybody's eyes to how despicable the narrative is that they are trying to serve us, okay? Truth does not fear introspection. Send over the files, okay? and bring us to your side. But don't think that we're going to fall for this nonsense of a summary report and you presenting, there's so much evidence, it's overwhelming. No one believes this. And I am literally on fire right now and just needed to rant because I'm watching this and shouting at my screen because I cannot believe the audacity of Erica Kirk. Okay? People, you can call me whatever you want. I'm happy to be public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. I find her to be malevolent. And that's all I'll say about that.
Can't disagree. And that's why, of all the people that Erica Kirk has to be an attack dog against Candace Owens, she has little Ben go out there and do it for her. In the end, we know which side will win. America first will win. And not America only, and I'm tired of seeing people say America only. Do you want to live in a society? Do you want to live in a global world? Or do you really think you can isolate yourself from the rest of the world? Trust me, when the economic collapse happens, you'll be begging other countries to do business with us. America first, not America only. And that is the key. Candace is spot on, as she often is. Charlie meant a lot to her, and she's not giving up, and neither are we.